Today I'm bringing you the first of the new Tesco craft beers. This is the North, a collaboration with three of North's best breweries. We've got Overtone, we've got from Glasgow, we've got Northern Monk from Leeds in Yorkshire, and we've got Neon Raptor from Nottingham. Is that the North? Well, whatever. Is this beer going to be any good? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing new beers from Tesco. Oh, a new beer from Tesco. This is the North, and you might think, well, if there's a beer called the North, surely there should be one called the South. Well, you'll be right. There is a beer called the South, also released from Tesco's today. This is got three southern breweries in it, but this is a Pavlova pastry sour. So that's another new one. And then the third new one that I'm going to be doing this week will be this one. This is a Daydreamer New England Session IPA from the London Beer Factory. But today's review is the North one. So because I think it's going to win because, you know, even though I'm a southerner living in the North, it's a double dry hop IPA, it's 7%. And you read it and you think, yeah, this is going to be up there with those sort of great Northern Monk supermarket beers. And I say Northern Monk, but if you look at the can, you sort of think, oh, this is a Northern Monk sort of can. It's by Northern Monk, but it's obviously by these two other breweries, by Overtone, which we all know, a great brewery up in Glasgow, and also Neon Raptor, which, I mean, maybe they should have done a North, a South, and a Midlands, because Neon Raptor's from Nottingham. So if you're from the North, you would definitely think Nottingham is almost the South. If you're from the South, maybe you would say, yeah, Nottingham, oh, that's so far north, that is. But for me, it's the Midlands. I won't call it the North, really. But it's got three of these breweries. And when I read the blurb on it, I'm going to put my glasses on to see what it says. It says, Leeds Northern Monk team up with Glasgow's Overtone, Nottingham's Neon Raptor to form the North's tag team against some of the finest breweries the South has to offer. So I'm presuming it's a Northern Monk-led beer. It says, combining their shared passion for all things hoppy, this Northern powerhouse are represented by a double dry hop IPA packed full of Citra plus Strata, Idaho 7, Eldorado for sweet and zesty citrus juice, tropical fruit and dank bitterness. So yeah, I mean, you look at the can, you think, yeah, this is like a Northern Monk. It's obviously, it's in black and white. It's very sort of quite striking, a big North on there. And as I say, it's a 7%, £3.50 this was from Tesco. Pretty good value for a 7% IPA. And I don't know, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be like, you know, things like Transient, which is a 7%. I'm sure that's a 7% double dry hop IPA by Northern Monk. Similar sort of hops. Faith in the Futures, obviously another IPA, not a double dry hop. Scafell is the other one that was the sort of another IPA. So I think they're going to be similar to that. And if they're as good as those, then great, bring it on. So let's get this beer out of the can into a nice IPA glass from Cloudwater, because they're a northern brewery, Manchester. And see what this one's all about. I'm going to take my glasses off as well because I can only focus on words when I'm writing, but when I'm actually looking at stuff, everything's a bit blurry. So let's take these glasses off. So beer in a glass looks pretty damn good. Looks like, you know, it's definitely a New England style beer. We've got 3 fingers of very badly poured head. But, you know, I'm getting to the point where I see other reviewers pour pretty badly, but I think there's nothing wrong when it comes to craft beer. There's nothing wrong with having a big head, because by the time I put this down and then start actually drinking it, that head will probably be pretty much disappeared. So it's nice to have a little bit of a fluffy head to start with. But colour wise, really cloudy, murky, hazy looking beer, custard colour. It looks more yellow in the screen. To me, it's got a bit more orange. It's got an orange hue around the sort of top part of it. Still looks pretty good. Let's see what it smells like. I mean, it's a typical sort of Northern Monk-led sort of New England IPA. Mango, citrus, grapefruit, bit of pineapple, papaya, passion fruit, all the tropicals. It's very big hitting on tropical, but there's also this slight sort of citrusy, grapefruit. You know, there's going to be it's going to be a good front and bottom to this beer. So let's see what it actually tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Here's to the North. I'm quite surprised. There's quite an element of dankness, and almost you can almost taste that there's a bit more strength in this than a lot of normal sort of IPAs. I mean, 7% is at the higher level, and you can taste that. So what we get? Well, we get mango and pineapple in the front, and it's very juicy. There's citrus, there's a bit of tangerine in there, there's a little bit of stone fruits in there, there's a little bit, it's almost like a bit of everything. All the sort of beers that you've ever heard me review, it's almost got that in this. Citrusy, all the citrus, oranges, lemons, limes and grapefruit. Pineapple, yeah, it's quite a lot of pineapple actually. Pineapple, mango, passion fruit, papaya, lychee, a little bit of melon in there. There's all kinds of flavours going on. There's nothing that sort of jumps out. It's very sort of soft as well, quite smooth, makes it easy to drink. But obviously there's also a little bit of a burn in there of some description. I don't know if it's hop burn. I mean, we talked, there's like, what we got here? We've got Citra, Strata, Idaho 7, Eldorado, 4 different hops. I don't know if it's a little bit of hop burn, a little bit of it's overly fresh. I'm just looking at the can because obviously this is brand new. Best before the 17th of the 8th, 22. So I'm presuming that it's pretty much been canned 6 months before that, which, well, that would be 6 months would be after, will be February now. So yeah, I think I would have said it's quite fresh. It doesn't actually have a canned on date, it just has a best before date. But there's a little bit of element of that, you know, a little bit of greenness about it, a little bit of, I think that it's a very hop forward beer. I'm deciding whether that sort of flavour is the sort of big hop forwardness of it, or even the fact that it's a 7%er, it's a little bit more alcoholic than, say, you know, the sort of 6 to 6.5%, which I think is a sort of IPA sweet spot. But it's a very good beer. It's juicy, it's fruity. There's a lot going on. It doesn't drink like a sort of cheap supermarket beer. You know, I've had IPAs where I've paid, you know, £5 with a lot less flavour than this. This is definitely a real juicy sort of fruity, bit of dankness, bit of bitterness. There's almost a little bit of pininess coming in. There's a lot going on. I think it would take me a few more drinks of this, but to really analyse how good it is. But I still think it's a very solid supermarket beer, and it's one of those sort of beers that you know that I will probably buy again and again because it's a real solid IPA. So let's get them scores. Okay, the scores are in for the North. It is a collaboration between Northern Monk, Overtone and Neon Raptor breweries. It's interesting, you really, for me, it's got a real big Northern Monk sort of feel to it, you know, so you're not sure what sort of input those other breweries had to it. But let's go through the scores. So firstly, aroma. Well, we pop it open. It's a 7% IPA. You expect good aroma for this. And you're getting it. There's a slight dankness in there, you know, a little bit, you know, when I smell this beer, I sort of think, yeah, I'm sure there's some mosaic in there because it has that sort of berry, bubble-gummy sort of a bit of a strange aroma. I'm not a massive fan of mosaic, but there's no mosaic in this, so I'm not sure where I'm getting that from. Maybe it's the Eldorado giving that sort of aroma off, but it's very, it's got that dankness right up front of the aroma, but there's also a lot of fruit, mangoes, pineapples, grapefruits, lemon zest. You know, there's a lot of fruitiness about it. So it's pretty good, and it's quite inviting as well. Certainly quite pungent. I mean, it's a 7%er, so I expect pungent aromas, and this has got real pungent aromas. Just fill the room. So I'm going to get 13 for aroma. Appearance-wise, well, although the head, you know, even though I poured it with a big head, now the head's literally disappeared, and it's very sort of soapy in terms of its head, not compact. Certainly the colour is pretty good. It's a nice hazy yellowy colour. I'm giving it a solid 8 for appearance. Flavour-wise, well, like the aromas, there's a lot going on. It's very soft. The carbonation is quite low. It's medium bodied. You're getting, there's so much going on. There's mango in there, there's pineapple, there's grapefruits. Then there's also citrus fruits coming in. And then there's some of those sort of periphery, sort of tropical sort of flavours of papaya and passion fruit. And all those sort of flavours in there as well. There's a lot going on. It's difficult to pinpoint what's the real big flavour. I mean, there's 4 different hops, so you expect lots going on. I think actually that sort of dankness is, I get it from the strata hop that's in this. I think that's the sort of where I'm getting that from. Certainly flavour-wise, there's a lot of juicy flavours here with a nice sort of slightly drier bitterness on the back end, a little bit of pininess, but not much. It's very much a juicy IPA. So I'm giving it 33 for flavour. Value for money. Well, a £3.50 beer with 4 different hops at 7%, 3 different breweries involved. I think that's good value for money. I think that's, you know, this is Tesco pulling out all the stops for this one. It's a much more flavoursome beer than a lot of beers that I will pay £5 plus for. Lots of hops going into this. It's a very hoppy beer, very hop forward. So I think value for money is very good for £3.50. I'm giving it 9 out of 10. And then my overall experience, well, I don't know if it's as good as some of the other Northern Monks that we've had. It is quite similar to that Transient, I think, which was a Morrison's 7% double dry hop IPA. I hope they haven't just rebadged it, because I haven't had that for a while, but it reminds me more of that than it does, say, Faith in the Futures or Scaffell. I'm sure there was another one as well by Northern Monk. But, you know, it's very much along that lines. 7% is pushing it out a little bit. I think a lot of people would be going, oh, they can taste the strength, but I still think that's more hop, the hoppiness about it that gives it that sort of strength in terms of the real sort of deep flavours that you're getting. But I think overall it's very good, and for the money I think it's a cracking beer. So I'm giving it 14 for my overall experience. It needs to be a bit more lively. It's one of those sort of beers that you think, oh, it's, you know, it's going to be a bit more lively, but you look at it, it looks a little bit dead on arrival. And in that way, it reminds me a little bit of that Tiny Rebel 606. No, not 606, was it 505? 505, wasn't it? Yeah, the Tiny Rebel one. Very sort of, almost to the point of tasting a bit flat in terms of its carb. This is similar, really. I'm not sure whether maybe, I mean, it's definitely been cold enough, so I'm not sure what that is, whether it's another dodgy can. It'd be interesting to know, but overall, I'm giving it 14. It's a very good quality beer for the price. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in it. It needs probably more, and I could probably sit and talk about it for half an hour. This video is already longer than I always want them to be, because there's a lot going on in this beer. I'm getting more that I drink it, the more the different flavours are coming in. So we top all those scores up, we get 77. I mean, it's a recommended beer. It's at the higher end of it. It's not quite got to the higher levels of 80s, but I think when you compare this as a supermarket beer, I think it's a very, very good beer, and there's obviously a lot going into it. So the North, whether the South can be as good, I mean, it's difficult because the South is a pastry sour, so it's like comparing apples and oranges to some extent. But, you know, we'll see how that fares. I mean, it's got 3 great breweries in there as well, so yeah, very good. I'm interested to see. There's more. I know there's more beers coming into Tesco, because I've seen where they're going to be on the shelf, but it says coming 15th of February, and that's 2 sour beers from Vault City. So Vault City, obviously, they did the tropical and they did the raspberry sours that were in there last year. So we've got 2 new ones. One's a mango sour, and the other one's, I think, blueberry. Yeah, blueberry sour. So I'd be quite interested to see how good they are. I mean, it's great that Vault City are getting there. And what is this with the sours? There's going to be more sours in there than there is IPA. So maybe they've realised there's a lot of people that are getting into the sour sort of beers. So very good. So 77 for this one. I've gone on and off. This is new beer from Tesco. And until the next one, keep on rocking.